So today's movie we're talking about is another Patreon request, and it's one where I feel like we got a studio that decided to take every single brand they could think of, throw it into a blender, and hit frappe. So,
yeah, we're going to talk about a movie that I kind of went under everybody's radar in '88. Didn't get really anybody a topic, discussion until later, many years later, when people discover like this movie this exists.
Yeah. It's the definitely confusing Paul Rudd fanboyed movie.
That's pretty much what catapulted the movie. Yeah. Because this was kind of a joke around that this was how would we do E.T. the wrong way?
Yeah. So let's do this review the right way as we talk about Stuart Raffles' 1988 film Mac and Me. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Goethe from GoatFilmReviews.com.
Hi, I'm Nick from the St. Paul Filmcast. Thanks for finding us. Thanks for watching. For our loyal fans, thank you for continuing to support the show. Hey, we do have a Patreon. Just like this episode was selected for us to do, you can join the Patreon. We got some great content. Also an opportunity to review movies in the future, just like this one.
Yeah.
You can pick movies that we talk about. You can follow us on X and on Instagram. Both Kyle and I are members of the Minnesota Film Critics Alliance. Boy, we are all heavy trying to get our list done for the end of the year. You can find that critics reviews as well as on that website. And today we're talking about the cult classic Mac and Me.
All right. This synopsis is brought to you by McDonald's and/or Coca-Cola.
Skittles too.
A mysterious alien creature, or Mac, and his family are accidentally brought to Earth, where he quickly escapes from NASA agents and finds refuge with Eric Cruz and his family. Together, Mac and his new friends search for the remaining members of his family. Now go out and buy yourself a Big Mac.
So there's not much to say that hasn't been already discussed before. It's heavily product placement. I like how this creative with the product placements. It's a fun drinking game that you can participate with me. But yeah, we had a lot of these aliens out of space, probably because of E.T. that were all of a sudden not really threatening, but also friendly.
Yeah, so I mean, what you got is you've got R.J. Lewis was one of the producers on this film, and he essentially had worked previously with the advertising arm of McDonald's, so he had kind of gotten involved. And of course, we had things like Happy Meals and like the productification of children's meals.
She's wearing the uniform.
Yeah, so, we've got that on the outset there where he's like, let's try and make a movie that we can get maybe like McDonald's or some of these other companies to help finance. McDonald's said they never financed it, but like Golden State Foods, which is like a partner to McDonald's, helped finance. So they're kind of a roundabout the way of that.
Off-branch, like a subsidiary.
Yeah. Stuart Raffles, who had kind of been known for doing more action, not adult action, but more like less children action films, was recommended by actor James Brolin to the production for this film. He was brought in and they said, hey, we don't have a script. The one we have, we hate. So you've got to write the script on the weekends and then prep the film during the week. Yep. And he was basically hired out of the blue. Stuart Raffles, a guy that after this would get kind of known for some really wild kind of a films. He did the original Tammy and the T-Rex, the movie about Denise Richards falling in love with her dead boyfriend whose brain isn't a T-Rex. So he's definitely kind of cornered that market of obscure kind of rip-offs.
Right, usually borrowing from something else, but not doing it kind of like the Roger Corman kind of a way. Mm-hmm. So Mac and Me gets a lot of slander for just kind of using the template of what we see previously. They're out in the desert for the alien stuff, almost like Inner Space. And you'll recognize a lot of other movies that you've seen before, but it's shot very straightforward. It's kind of almost silly that it's almost every movie, every scene almost like just set the camera down.
Yeah. I'm sure that production on this thing was wildly quick.
Right. And then it's kind of funny to see how they kept the puppet blocked from things as a gimmick of he's hiding also.
Yeah.
But then when he's out there full force, people don't see him.
That's true.
He's on the window. For God's sake, you don't see him. He's at the window.
Maybe my favorite part of the film is when he gets hit by that car and he like does the splat thing.
The cartoon splat. Right.
It's kind of what E.T. does for the creature of E.T. is very respectful in a way. Like he's a goofy, silly looking creature and we respect it. And Mac and Me is very much like he's a cartoon character. He's Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner mixed into one. Yeah. And so he's kind of like, we love him, but we also hurt him a lot.
It's kind of interesting to see this movie after we already critiqued Silver Bullet with kids in wheelchairs also being the hero in the movie, but also kind of being like, the kid from E.T. as well. Right. It's accessible anywhere, really, free. It's on
Yeah.
Tubi, Pluto, anywhere, so it's not hard to find. It just feels uncomfortable. The eyes are kind of weird. And they don't say anything. They're almost looking like they're doing Cheerios with their mouths.
Yeah, Mac as a creature is very much like a thing on a stick that we kind of move around, and then the eyes will operate themselves. He's very much like low tier, B level. I ordered ET off of Wish.com.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because I think Raphael is putting everything into this film. You know, I've seen a few of Stuart Raphael's films. He has a reverence for this movie. They cover it in the documentary that I helped fund, In Search of Tomorrow, about 80s sci-fi. And Stuart Raphael is talking with such reverence for this film.
Okay.
Whenever they cut to someone else, they're like, oh man, what a piece of garbage. So it's good to know that he's proud of the work that he did there and that he actually tried to put something into it. But I think this is a case of a studio and a number of brands all having their say.
Right. Also, before when you critique movies or talk about movies or you're making a movie, what are you trying to stress first? If you're stressing product placement first, this is what you get.
Yeah.
If you want to stress story first, well, then you get to work on the story. But obviously, story is the vessel for product, and that's why the gimmick. That's why it makes this so kind of awkward to watch.
Yeah, because before going into it, I knew two things about the film. I knew the long-running Paul Rudd gag, which if you haven't seen, they've got a supercut on YouTube of every time Paul Rudd was on Conan O'Brien's show to promote a film, starting actually way back with the series finale of Friends. He would say, we got a clip, and they'd show the clip, and it was the same clip of Jade Caligari's character riding his wheelchair right off a cliff.
Right.
It's a wonderful little running gag, but I knew about that, and I knew about the McDonald's dance sequence.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how much McDonald's, how much Coca-Cola, how much Skittles was in the film.
Late 80s. We love McDonald's. We love Coca-Cola. And the Skittles are actually pretty new at the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like almost the Reese's Pieces kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. Be interesting to do. I would like to see a double feature of E.T. in this and see how many people stay.
I'd have to start with this so that I would stay. I wanted to mention, Jade Caligari, too, because I think, when you mentioned Silver Bullet, we mentioned, it features a kid in a wheelchair and facing off against these kind of unimaginable stories. And that film itself feels more like the characters around them are burdened by, Corey Haim being in this wheelchair. And I like that this film never really focuses on, Caligari's illness. I think he has spinal bifida, if I'm saying it right. Yep. And it's something that he just has, and it's part of his character, and it's part of the story. I think the actor himself has it as well. I like that that's part of the character, but it's not the character.
My favorite part of the movie was, of course, when they go to the supermarket. It's nice to see 80s supermarket again that we haven't seen.
I appreciate it, because I haven't seen Ronald McDonald, the actor that played him throughout all those 80s commercials. I haven't seen him in so long in that role. So I would definitely recommend, once you finish this movie, go watch the trailer, because it's really weird to see a product, Ronald McDonald himself, delivering the trailer to you, as if he's kind of you love me. And I think this was during the time period where there was that whole news story about, kids knew Ronald McDonald, but they couldn't recognize the president or Jesus or all these other pictures that people would show them, but they knew who Ronald McDonald was, and it's he was the ambassador of everything fun at the time, and may still be.
And chicken nuggets. So, what do you think of our review of Mac and Me? I always thought when I was a kid, I think they should have I thought it was mac and cheese instead of McDonald's.
I mean, if you gave me mac and cheese and you gave me Mac and Me, I'd have to make a really hard call.
Right.
But I can't say I enjoyed the film, but I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah,
and I think that's
kind of
it's
kind of just bizarre the whole journey, process, and everything.
So let us know your thoughts on Mac and Me down below in the comments section. Let us know if you saw uncredited extra Jennifer Aniston in her first role. She's in the McDonald's scene. She's there. You can look for her. Let us know if you found her or not. Yeah, and thank you guys for joining us. We had a lot of fun breaking down this odd film. We talked about such great horror movies from the 1988 time period on our Patreon, which you can check out by joining now. It's interesting to showcase that there were other movies in 1988 that maybe didn't scratch that surface.
Other movies. I love it. Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us. Once again, remember, you can go ahead and join the Patreon. You can offer us up next month's Patreon pick.
Exactly.
And we'll see you then. Yeah.